Hey everyone, I'm totally not named Dan, and yeah, I'm back again. This time with my buddy Jotakumon. Hey dude.
Hey everyone.
And it turns out you're smaller than me.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised you didn't know that.
I had no idea.
Yeah, maybe it's like one of those things you don't think about when you meet someone, so it doesn't register.
I mean,
Yeah.
not unless you're within a foot of my personal space, no.
Oh. Okay, that's odd. Yeah.
If you were right up close, looking face to face as though you were about to kiss me or something, then I'd notice.
Yeah, no. I guess the only time we face to face is when we sit down for card games, so I guess.
Yeah, that time we're a whole table away.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've genuinely never noticed that apparently you're a good sort of 7 inches smaller than me. I only found this out when setting up for this and having to work out how big your avatar should be. The joys of suddenly being a low-effort VTuber.
I'm just so confused because I feel like not so much recently, but I used to make a lot of jokes just off the cuff, about being short or something. So I'm confused about what you think that was.
I don't remember you making any short jokes.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Oh well. Anyway, we should probably get on with the real reason I brought you here, which is I'm looking at a bunch of promos today, and as I understand it, you may be the only person in the UK who's managed to actually redeem booster pack wrappers since My Hero came out.
Maybe. I don't know about if other people in the UK have done it, but in our group, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've sent in 540 pack wrappers, and that's still not enough to get all the promos I want. And I have no idea if they're going to be sorted or not.
Yeah, it took about 10 days, I believe, for mine to be sorted. Yours are 550, so it might take a while longer.
Yeah, mine also aren't sorted into packs of 30, because I only found out after I packaged up my box full that they wanted me to sort it into packs of 30. I'm just like, that's effort, I'm not doing that. I'm not reopening everything.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it may take a bit.
Maybe they'll just believe you.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, they can weigh them. We know they weigh approximately a gram per pack, so if it's like roughly that, they should just believe you.
And then I, of course, have managed to get a promo. I picked up a promo Toru a while back just to see if redemption worked for the UK at all. Turns out it does, though from what I've heard it might be a little inconsistent and sometimes it might take forever.
Yeah. I've been waiting for mine 3.5 weeks so far, and nothing has come out of it.
Which is impressive because mine took a week and a half, which is a really good turnaround for the US.
I've asked some people on the Jasco Discord, but I get mixed answers.
Everyone does.
Yeah, on one of the announcements of Jasco, it says they would pack up everything at the end of the month. So we should just get all our stuff from the shop now and everything comes together. But it doesn't specify if it's for the EU as well, or for Europe in general. And some people on the Discord just said, yeah, they're trying to figure out something specific for Europe and it's only US, but nothing officially says it's only for the US. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I need at least some of the promos that are coming out for my new deck. And there are some other cool ones in there too. So I figured we'd take a look at them today, and hopefully there'll be some way we in the UK can get them.
Yeah, I'll try to contact Jasco, see if that works. Because it might be that we can get all of them together at once, which would be nice.
So yeah, these are the Provisional Showdown promos specifically, which you can get in events, but how many Provisional Showdown events there will ever be in the UK is a bit unclear as well. There's something that my locals are saying they might be able to do come set 3, which would be really nice if they can, but I'm a little skeptical because nowhere near me has managed to do it for set 1 and 2.
Yeah. Set 2, is that where Selkie is, the character?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I need to get that from the shop then.
Yeah. But yeah, first things first. First card we're looking at is Mount Lady support, which is kind of cool because, well, Mount Lady's already been available as promos for the Plus Ultra packs for winning games. So to see some support for the character, to not just have a character with no dedicated cards, is pretty nice. This one is Photogenic Hero, and yeah, it's just a picture of Mount Lady's backside, really.
Yeah, I mean, you see her entirely in the picture.
Yeah, but you can tell what the focus is on, and she knows what the focus is on in the show as well.
Yeah, I mean, she makes it the focus, right?
Yeah, exactly. They make it very clear what her character is. So I find this one a little questionable, but so be it. Uh, so this is a taunt, which it's nice to see more of. And its first effect is Enhance Destroy. This attack cannot receive any more speed bonuses this enhanced step.
Okay.
So that's just make it easier to block by stopping your opponent from raising the speed too high. It shuts down characters like Ida if you really need to, but on the whole, it's nothing too crazy.
Yeah, and the fact that you need to destroy it too is like maybe last resort, I guess.
Yeah. On a 2-diff foundation, a destroy effect is kind of rough.
Yeah, but if you think about it in terms of you lose one foundation, but they lose potential 3 bonus speed.
Oh, if the game's not going too much longer, then absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. But I see the second effect is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I initially thought this was a flip. It actually says response remove, which makes it a lot worse.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a really high cost, but basically what you're doing is you're trading this foundation for another copy of your starting character after you block with it, which a few characters specifically care about, but Mount Lady specifically, that's another 2 damage on every attack she can discard momentum for.
Mm-hmm.
So that is very useful for her.
Yeah, and characters tend to be good. I mean, all of them have a 0 block modifier, I assume.
Yeah, yeah. And none of them are Turnaloose, sadly, because Turnaloose in Standard has Breaker 1 on his face.
I'm wondering if there is something else that one could do with characters in a stage. Some kind of effect which doesn't look into whether it's a foundation or an asset, but just looks into card in your stage.
There is Crow and Frog readies any card in your stage, but because
Yeah.
all your extra characters count as part of the same card as your base character, unless the game's actively looking at characters, it makes no difference to Crow and Frog's effect. If it looked at numbers of cards in your stage, then maybe it would. But to the best of my knowledge, nothing does. At least not in My Hero.
Does Mineta only move foundations into the card pool?
Mineta makes the opponent move a foundation.
Yeah, okay, I see. So it's not any card in this stage.
No. So I don't think there are any interesting interactions with multi-stacking characters yet. But the fact that we're seeing a little bit more multi-character support already means we may be heading towards that in the future. Personally, I'm thinking we'll see a lot of it come set 4, because there's no way they don't put twice in the League of Villains set.
Yeah.
Okay. So, moving on to card 2, if you're ready for that.
Yep.
We have the card I most care about, which is All Might 5. Now, this is inherently interesting because we already have All Might that we saw at a convention, and that I've actually managed to get myself a copy of, which is really nice. The foiling on it looks so much better in person. It is incredible.
It is.
And it turns out, while All Might is All Might 1, he's actually the same character as All Might 7 that was given away at a separate convention. Or possibly even the same one. So we've seen All Might 7, and this is All Might 5, but there's no trace of All Might 6 yet.
Interesting.
And we've seen all the reveals for set 3, and none of them contain All Might 6.
Is All Might 1 because it has a different name, and so it doesn't really count as an All Might?
Which is really weird, because it does count as the same card as All Might 7.
Oh, it does count for any type of interaction. If there is some kind of All Might enhance, it would count as such.
It should, but I don't think they've clarified those rules yet.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Which is really bizarre. Anyway, the effects of this one are response twice per turn. After you play a card with Smash in its name, draw 1 card. So
I like that.
This guy is a 6-hander on his face, but actually he can draw up to 8 in a turn as long as he can attack in that turn. And here's what makes it worse. That also works on block.
Oh, it does. Yes. It's not if you play an attack, it's if you play a card.
Yep. So he can be a 10-hander, essentially.
Yeah, that's crazy good.
Especially with 27 health.
Yeah.
The problem is, guess how many Smash cards are in the game right now?
I'm gonna just take a guess. 4.
Actually, 6. There are 6 Smashes.
Are they good blocks?
In the entirety of My Hero. Some of them are some really good blocks. But I think the only one that's a really good block, the +0 high, is the Detroit Smash, which is also a 2-check.
Okay.
And then Delaware Smash, annoyingly, is a flash, so it won't work with his other abilities.
Oh, yeah. Do they all share one symbol with each other?
Yes, they all have the good symbol, and I think the life.
Okay, so Smash cards are all good.
Yeah, Smash Tribal is playable, but it's still going to be rough for him. Because, yeah, he comes out with set 3. Set 3 doesn't introduce any more Smashes. So he's going to be limited to 6 Smashes, one of which is a 2-check, and one of which doesn't work with his Enhance.
Mm-hmm. But you don't have to play all 6 Smashes like this, or you can play other attacks as well, right? I mean, you just don't get the draw one every time.
Yeah, but he really wants that draw, because that's his big character ability, really.
Yeah. I mean, I would have to look into the Smash cards exactly. It is a bit disappointing, only 6 of them, but I still like the effect a lot.
I think this guy's going to be good, but I don't think he's going to be good in set 3.
Yeah, you think probably more in the future when we got more Smash cards.
Yeah. In Standard, there are some Smashes too, but not many.
Oh, yeah.
In the entire history of UniVersus, there are 27. So maybe as a legacy character he'll do something interesting, but the problem with that is as a legacy character he's got a lot of tough opposition.
Yeah, but Detroit Smash, it works really well because that's the one where you add 3 cards for behind to momentum, right? Something like that.
At the cost of 1 momentum, yes.
Oh, yeah. So with all that hand draw, that's pretty cool.
Well, also, he could reduce his hand size to 5 with that one. Make himself draw 3 more cards. Just have
Oh, yeah.
13 in 1 turn cycle.
Yeah, and then it has powerful, I assume?
Yeah. It only has powerful 2, I think, on its face.
Does he have good speed?
I think it's a 6/6 by default. But also, this guy, and we talked about the enhance a little bit, what it does is it lets him flip a foundation to give a fury or punch attack, which every smash is, +2 speed or +2 damage. Yeah, you can guarantee his attacks get through if they're decent speed already, or he can give plus damage to all of them.
I just checked, it also has EX2 as well.
Yes, it does.
I'm trying to figure out how much damage you can do, like, just with that attack, if that's like your first attack. Let's say you have like 1 momentum, right? You play it, let's say succeed, you draw back a card, so you have now 6 cards in hand, right?
Sure.
Reduce hand size by 1 and draw 3 cards. Now you have 9 cards in hand, right? It's got a momentum, add 3 cards from hand to your momentum. Okay, I see. You don't gain extra powerful just for having more cards in hand.
Wait, you said 9 cards in hand. I think you mean 11.
What did I miss?
Because oh wait, no, because he only gets 1 from playing the smash, so it would only be 10 at that point unless you play it as the second attack.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's still pretty good. 14 damage just on your first attack for 1 momentum, and you have more cards in hand now.
I still think he needs a bit more to be good, but
possibly, yeah.
He has potential for the future, definitely. The most interesting thing about this character, though, is his third ability.
Yes.
This is the first character we've ever seen with Deadlock on their face. Not just in My Hero, but in general.
Oh, really? Throughout the entirety of UFS?
Well, I mean, you say that as though Deadlock wasn't introduced. I said 8 sets in the previous video. It was actually 10 sets before My Hero.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
There were a few cards that specifically mentioned number of foundations in the stage before that, because they were clearly looking at implementing Deadlock-style abilities before Deadlock became a keyword.
Mm-hmm.
But back then they hadn't quite decided what the number was, and also I don't think any of those were even on characters.
Mm-hmm. That seems like a good number. I feel like it doesn't happen all the time, but when it happens, it's like, oh, it's finally happening. We're getting a really, really crazy good ability out of this.
I don't see as much Deadlock punish as I thought I would in My Hero.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't see a vast amount of play.
Yeah.
Though it does definitely see a little bit. And there are some crazy abilities, though the most crazy was Concerted Effort, which got banned for having an infinite. So, what this one does is it's a first form, once per game. Your attacks with Smash and their name just have stun 2 for the rest of the turn. So again, doesn't work with Delaware Smash, because that's got Flash. But all the other Smashes suddenly become stun 2. The first one, it's not going to matter. The second one, probably not going to matter. Once you hit the third Smash card, you're probably committing your opponent out at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, is a lot of attacks to go into before that, but maybe you have other ways to give him stun. Maybe you have other ways to commit your opponent. Regardless, stun 2 is nice.
Just realized Missouri Smash also nicely fits into that. If the attack deals damage, build next foundation, face up, nice. But if the punch attack has dealt damage, draw 1. Any punch attack. So you can just keep drawing with Missouri Smash over and over again.
Nice. Yeah, there's a lot of little things this guy can do. Yeah. So hopefully he becomes good in the future. But for me, the reason I want him is for another All Might. All Might 4. The so-called true form, which isn't actually All Might's true form at all.
Okay. 730, that is unique.
Yep, but he loses health at the start of every turn. We've seen this guy before, we've talked about him a bit before, but what this guy does is he plays All Might Tribal. I mean, he has the form which lets him for one turn become any other All Might. Don't care, not useful, because they clarified the ruling on that, as in they changed the way it works, so that he doesn't keep his own abilities. So he's no better than the All Might he's turning into, and if you wanted to turn into that All Might, you could just play that All Might from the start. What is good about this guy is that every All Might he draws becomes +3 damage and draw a card.
Oh.
So you run 20 All Mights in your deck. Every attack gets +3 damage and then cycles you further through your deck to see more of your attacks. And the most crazy thing to play this with, I've talked about with you in person, is Airstream Driver, where if your opponent blocks any of your attacks, you then play Airstream Driver, discard their block from their card pool, get +3/+3 to the Airstream Driver, making it a 6/9 already, and then you give it +3 damage with the All Might, and so it's pretty hard to block because it's a 6 speed, 12 damage attack. And if your opponent does block it, oh well, just throw another one. It's a 12 damage attack again.
Yep. The only problem I can see is that with so many All Mights in your deck, you might brick.
Yeah, you'll get not a lot of room for foundations, but to be fair, you do get 2 mulligans going first and a whole load of 6 checks. Or you get a partial Paris mulligan going second and an extra card. So bricking is not nearly as much of a concern in this as other card games. Even as in Digimon, when they had a mulligan, you bricked a lot more.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wait. Can you enhance this All Might card during your opponent's turn? It just says your attack gets +3 damage, so.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you don't need a +0 mid block, you can absolutely change it for anything else during your opponent's turn.
I mean, usually you would want it, but you know.
Yeah, but let's say you want to block another zone.
Yeah.
If you want a full block and attack, you can just exchange your All Might and draw a new card.
I'm just checking it. Walkling isn't good and doesn't share any symbols with it. Shame.
Well, also, this character sucks on death because no other All Might has death, so he just doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
Which is really stupid for his design, but hey.
Yeah, that's really weird. Unless All Might 6 has death, who knows?
Maybe. Seems unlikely. I expect All Might 6 to have Chaos. I'm still really sad that All Might didn't have Chaos, because if All Might had Chaos, I could play it with all the Sticky Balls support.
Quick question. If there's a part of the name that is in parentheses, does that count as a part of the exact name? So this card would not count as an All Might?
This card does count as an All Might, so you can run an extra 3 copies of this in the deck, but it also counts as an All Might true form. It's like how the dots, which have become the version number, used to be in the character name, and they counted as part of the card name, but they didn't count as the character name.
Okay. Another dumb question then. First form once per game. If I use that to play this All Might on top of itself, I gain the new All Might's abilities. Can I do that again and put another All Might on top?
No, because you've already used a first form this turn.
Oh, it's the first form. God damn it! I forgot the first bit. See, I don't like first forms. That's the reason. But if it wasn't first form, I could have done it, right?
Yeah, if it wasn't first form, you could have done that, and it would be really stupid.
It would, but you know, that's fun.
Yeah, it would be funny. Anyway, that's what I'm using that with. We do also have one new card of possibly All Might support, possibly Deku support, possibly just general support. It's quite hard to tell. This is Living Up to His Example. It's a 3 difficulty, 5 check, +1 low block, breaker 1, action card that can only be played as a first enhance. It is first enhance remove. You may discard 1 card from hand in addition to momentum, to play the cost of this attack's EX or powerful ability. If your hand size is 6 or less, draw a card. So the card replaces itself, but you're still losing a card from hand, so it's still going net -1, even if you're a 6-hander or less. And worse than that, if you're a 7-hander or above, you go a -2.
Yeah, but if you're not using the first part of the enhance, you get still to draw a card, right?
Yeah, you can just exchange this card for another card, which I guess is alright.
Yeah.
And I guess you can do that during opponent's attack for the block as well. But the other thing to note is while it says in addition to momentum, that's in addition to any amount of momentum, including 0.
Yeah.
So you can just discard. You can play this even if you have no momentum.
I think it's pretty good, actually. I quite like this.
I think it's very niche. It may well have some use, however, with All Might 1, who just wants to do one really big, powerful attack. Because, yeah, it lowers his powerful X, because it lowers his hand size before he can use that ability, because it has to be used as a first form. But it means he can essentially have the momentum, the way that Capture Evildoers gives him the momentum, without having to give his opponent momentum first. The downside, however, is that that pseudo-momentum that he gets from this can't be used on Detroit Smash's discard 1 momentum, gain 3 momentum ability. So it doesn't let him do the crazy stuff that he would otherwise be able to do. So I'm still not convinced that this is going to be anything more than niche, even in that All Might.
I just realized the 3 cost is also a bit... I mean, it doesn't seem weird, but... Okay, so what I thought about was using it in things like Home Run Comet, where it is like the last attack you want to play. You already gained a momentum by moving a foundation, and then you get another momentum from your hand. That's like 2 extra momentum. I think that could be very useful. But I think people will play this more for just as a block. It's just a really good block, right? It has a breaker 1.
Yeah, you don't draw back the card when you use it as a block, but you can draw the card to replace this, yeah. So I think being able to use it to breaker or replace it with something else if you don't need a low might actually make it a rather good block. The problem is it's a dead card on your turn in most respects. Because even with Home Run Comet wants you to have things in your card pool. This is a 3-diff. Chances are, if you're getting any value out of Home Run Comet, you're going to be playing this on a 6+.
Yeah, but in things like Jiro, you can stack your stuff, I guess.
Yeah, it's possible to get some use out of it, but even then, wouldn't you rather have another attack?
The idea is if it's really your last attack. In that case, I think a Home Run Comet, which is already maybe boosted in speed, boosted in damage, and then you give it a bunch of powerful, to then be able to get more out of that might be pretty good.
I think the one reason this is better than just playing another attack is that it checks a 5.
Yeah, that, and the fact that you say, okay, let's say Home Run Comet is your 3rd attack, then this needs a 6, but your next attack would probably need like an 8 or something. This would, quote unquote, only need a 6. I feel like this is like a one-off that you might play in some decks.
Maybe. I still don't think it's good, though.
Okay, yeah. I'm surprised that the Enhance isn't set specific, because this looks like all the other actions.
Yeah. But to be fair, it's bad enough that I don't think it needs any more restriction.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we have Flamethrower. Because we're talking about character-specific support. It's not restricted to a character, but this is support for Todoroki. Like, clearly support for Todoroki, but very interesting support for Todoroki, because this is the first Todoroki card we've seen that doesn't have water on it.
Oh, yeah.
This is exclusively a fire card. But also it's got death, so it shares symbols with a few other characters, or it shares more symbols with Shigaraki than any of the other support for Todoroki does. So that's pretty interesting. And this is a 5 difficulty, 3 check attack. It's a +2 mid block, charge, ranged, and powerful 3, and it's 5 damage base, so it's going to get pretty high, I reckon. Yeah. Only a 3 mid though, so fairly blockable, except enhance, discard the top card of your deck. This attack gets +X speed. X equals the printed difficulty of the discarded card.
Well, if you're lucky, it means 0. But I guess like a +2/+3 on the foundation is pretty common.
Yeah. This incentivizes you running high difficulty foundations, basically.
Yeah. Which you can do because with fire you can play Go for the Win, which allows you to just destroy foundation, build 2 foundations.
Yes, but go for the win, if I remember correctly, is only a 1 diff.
2 diff.
Okay, that's not bad then.
It's good, yeah. It's like the kind of difficulty you would play foundations at.
Yeah, exactly.
You 1 difficulty foundations.
You want to keep your 1s and 0s to an absolute minimum if you're really caring about this. But then also, if you hit an attack, that's plus 4 or 5 speed. This is not getting blocked.
Yeah, and that's pretty good.
And then the second enhance is if this deals 5 or more damage, destroy 1 rival foundation. So I think that's just to sort of even things up a bit. You can't play as many foundations if you're playing a lot of high difficulty ones. So you just get to say no to your opponents as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to deal that 5 damage if it hits an attack.
And that's without the powerful.
Yeah. If your opponent negates any of the damage, you just powerfully back up again. So yeah, personally, I think that's a pretty cool card.
Well, it doesn't share any symbols with All Might, so it makes no sense to play it in the All Might deck.
I mean, you could play it in All Might True Form, because it shares death with him. It's just All Might True Form, doesn't share death with any other All Might.
Yes. Exactly, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Oh, have you thought about a name for the All Might deck with All Mights?
I'm mostly just calling it All the Might for now.
Oh, I thought just Oops All Might.
That was the first working title, but it didn't sound very good to me.
Okay.
Oops All Might is funnier, just because it seems like it's saying the same thing twice when it's not.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing how this flamethrower card is played. It doesn't look like a generic, an automatically always good card, right? There's some cards in the promos where they're always good. No matter when you play them, they're always good. Like Throwing Croc Takedown is always going to be good. You just ignore progressive, and if you play it in the right character, you ready something in your stage. But Flamethrower seems like very dependent on what you get on top of your deck, but a lot of Todoroki stuff does that, it seems.
Yeah, Flamethrower is very specific to your deck building.
Yeah, and I don't believe there's a lot of stuff where you can stack into Todoroki. I don't think there's any stuff like that in there, right?
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any, but there might be some on Order. It's just most people don't play Order Todoroki because only the second Todoroki has Order, and he doesn't have a vast amount of support.
Yeah.
Set 2 gave us a lot of characters with only a little bit of support each. Set 3 is looking to round that out a bit more, give us a bit more support for them.
Okay.
So, yeah. It's an interesting card, is basically what I'm getting out of this. The other name I'm thinking might go for the All Might deck is One for All of them, because they all share One for All.
Yeah.
But yeah. Something will happen with that. Then we have our first 2-check of this bunch, Villainous Waylay.
Spicy.
It's only a 4 difficulty, though, which means it's rather easier to play than most of the 2-checks so far, and won't punish you as much if you check an additional copy of itself. It's a 4 mid for 5, which is kind of meh, whatever, but you'll notice it shares at least 2 symbols with Shigaraki. It's Death, Evil, Void, and it's Enhanced Name a Block Zone. Your rival must discard a card with a named block zone. If they cannot, they reveal their hand. So this does the same thing Shigaraki really wants to do, which is just say no to the opponent blocking.
Oh, that's a really good card.
Yeah. Put this in Shigaraki, it hits for 10, basically.
Yeah, because of the 5 extra damage. Oh god, I already don't like playing against this Villainous Waylay.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. But it is also a 2-check.
It is. So I hope people don't play it as much.
Well, I suspect people will play it, and then they'll check it, and then they'll die because of it.
Yeah.
Because you have to build very specifically for 2-check decks. You have to really up your number of 1s and 0s. And you don't want any 3-diff foundations in there.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way.
So you run this, you're excited for Blood comes out right away, which is a bit of a shame, because that card is darn good. Right, moving on to the next one, I guess. Gigantic Explosion. This is vaguely similar to a bunch of the Scorpion support from Mortal Kombat, and it shares 2 symbols with Scorpion, it's Death and Fire, but it also has Earth, because this is support, in fact, for the second Bakugo.
Oh.
It's Fury and it combos on a Fury, which means this 5 diff is in fact going to be a 6 to get its full abilities, but it does have a nice +1 mid block, and this one actually checks a 3 rather than a 2. It's a 4 high for 5, so decent stats, nothing amazing. But the combo enhance is discard a momentum. Both players destroy 2 of their rivals' foundations, so you choose 2 of theirs, they choose 2 of yours.
Oh, that's so weird.
This attack gets +X damage, where X is the total difficulty.
When it says difficulty out of destroy foundations, it is the foundations as they are at that point, right? So if they're flipped, it's 0.
Yes.
Okay. Not that it would make sense to destroy a flipped foundation, but...
Well, it would make sense for your opponent to destroy your flipped foundations to give you less damage, but it would also make more sense for them to destroy your high difficulty foundations to give you less abilities. So it's an interesting trade-off there. Whereas for you, you just go for their biggest ones and say, I'll have +4 to 6 damage.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, that could do literally nothing. Best case scenario, that's +12.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, this is in Bakugo, who destroys his own foundations as well. So you can get rid of all the less valuable ones. Force your opponent to pick the good stuff. So while you probably can't guarantee that +12, you probably can guarantee that this attack will hit for double digits. If, though, your opponent is in deadlock, so you have a really wide selection of foundations to choose from, you also just get 2 momentum for free out of your discard pile.
Oh, damn. Oh, top 2, so you...
Yeah, you don't get to choose, but even so, you could pick up some stuff that does stuff from your momentum, because I think maybe Ochako 2 has some support on those symbols. It's crazy, but we'll get to that. The important part is, this is a really big, flashy effect on a 6-diff, and it's cool.
I mean, there is all the stuff from Todoroki, which trashes cards from the top of the deck, right? So if you don't like what you see on top of your discard pile, you might as well trash cards from your deck, get some damage or speed, and then if that's something you like, then put it there.
Well, alternatively, if you use the combo enhance first, your opponent puts 2 of your foundations, and then you just go, I'll have those in momentum then.
Yeah, the foundations usually don't have any
momentum
effects, do they?
But let's say you have 2 face downs on board, and they're attacks with momentum effects. You're just like, okay, I'll let my opponent destroy these.
Yeah, and the opponent cannot see what's below them, right?
So there are some possible shenanigans with this, definitely.
Can you shuffle the foundations in front of him?
I don't believe you can shuffle them.
But you can reorder them in whatever way.
You can definitely rearrange your stage however you feel like, whenever you feel like.
Very quickly as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, the one thing I don't like about this is that it's a 4-speed. There's a good chance this will get blocked. You do need some way to push this through. But if you can push this through, this is stupid damage.
Yeah.
It's a fun card.
Also just realized with Go for the Win, you do often get attacks in your stage, face down. As well. I like the first combo enhance. The speed's not great. I'm not looking forward to playing it against it, though. I hate when the opponent does things to my foundations that I can't. I just don't like it.
The speed's not bad, to be honest. It's just not going to kill, because people will block this. But the slightest buff, and this becomes almost impossible to block without foundations. And...
destroy it, yeah.
Yeah.
I could also see this maybe doing well as like a... not necessarily a final attack, but maybe the attack before the final attack, you know?
Oh no, this is absolutely a finisher.
Yeah, you don't need your foundations, so you just destroy them. Your opponent destroys them, they can't block. Or you destroy the opponent's ready foundations, they can't block it now. And so they already have 1 or 2 blocks in play. So
the actual line of play for this is you play an attack, you commit for it, you destroy your lowest difficulty foundation to give plus damage to the attack, and then you just keep doing that until you only just have enough foundations to guarantee you can pass this.
Yep.
And you make sure that it's your biggest ones left. And that way, when this comes down, you're guaranteed damage. Your opponent has had to block everything else, because everything else has had damage. And this just does sort of, I don't know, 13 plus.
Yeah, I thought also playing the, I don't know what it's called. It's a Bakugo card, which has 2 card pool abilities. One of them you remove from your card pool, and the attack gains...
Nitro Explosion Ignition.
Exactly. Powerful too. So you can combine it with that as well.
Yeah, if your opponent has somehow got into deadlock, then absolutely you can do that bit as well. Nitro Explosion Ignition is even better because it clears itself from card pool.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So you can keep doing that, if only just to keep your difficulty down.
Yeah. And if you have 2 of them, 2 Nitro Explosion Ignitions, one of them reacts and adds something to momentum, so you can use that momentum for this 3rd attack. So as a 3rd attack already, this is a really good finisher.
However, the one thing to bear in mind is you do have to have an attack before this when you use the combo enhance. So
the Nitro Explosion.
You can't respond with every Nitro Explosion and remove them all.
Yeah, you remove one of them, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this is definitely a fantastic card. It's going to be a lot of fun for whoever's playing it, and maybe not so much for whoever's not. So, final one, the one which really isn't support for anyone. This is actually second in the collector number order, but I saved it for last. We have Recovery Girl, or, as the community insists on calling her, Granny Cage.
Granny Cage.
Yeah, you'll notice one of the cards I've given you to go along with this is Johnny Cage, because, yeah, she's basically a reworking of that old character from Mortal Kombat. Because she has response after you take damage, build one foundation from your discard pile. So just any time your opponent hurts you, you get to build.
Yeah, but Johnny Cage is suspended. Recovery Girl doesn't. Sorry, committed, not suspended.
But what the other thing Recovery Girl does that Johnny doesn't, though, is Recovery Girl has a first form to just gain 2 health back every turn.
Yep.
And if 2 health isn't enough, you can always build in Rigorous Training and respond for +2 health. Or you can get Super Regeneration. Because you're still in the response window for having taken damage, you then just flip Super Regeneration after it comes in and immediately gain 3 health.
Do they share symbols?
Oh, my bad. Super Regeneration does not share symbols. That is a shame. Probably for the best, though.
Yep.
But still, the fact that you can gain 2 back off the attack and then gain 2 back during your turn means a 4 damage attack just does nothing.
Yeah, you just build it, and then you destroy the foundation again. And you build it again.
Well, yeah, she also has the ability to destroy 2 foundations to give her attack throw.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you can also use during your opponent's attack just to destroy 2 of your foundations so that you can build them back again. So if you flipped a thing, you destroy it, you build it back, now it's face up, now you can flip it again. Or, if you just really need that extra 2 health again, you destroy and rebuild the Rigorous Training.
Yep. Nice.
And then we also have Excited for Blood, speaking of flipping. Excited for Blood requires your rival to lose health, so it does require you to wait until your turn to gain it back, but it gains you 4 back. And yeah, it flips. Yeah, it's a 3-diff. 3-diff doesn't matter when you're not playing it. And the fact that it flips, well, you just destroy it, build it again. Who cares?
Yep.
It also has once per turn you can lose 2 extra health after your rival loses health to draw a card. And, you know, if you're gaining this much health, do you really care about losing 2?
Not really.
Especially when you're...
5-hander, so you can... Yeah.
Especially when you're immediately gaining 4 of it back again.
Yep.
This card... Yeah, Recovery Girl is going to be very silly. There's also You're So Obvious, but if your opponent's making really big attacks, you build this in. You're So Obvious means she has ways to negate speed or negate damage buffs.
Multiple times.
Yeah, you can just do this every attack and then take a decent little hit rather than a massive one. It's not something she's going to want to do all the time because it means she's taking hits and not healing, but it's something she can do all the time in the right matchup. So just keep a copy or 2 in the deck. You'll check it at some point, then you can do that over and over and over.
Yeah, I can see that working. I think not as good as the other ones, but it works. Yeah.
Oh, well, you want to see the really good one. New training method.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Johnny Cage has nothing on this. This is response after you build this card, build a foundation from your hand committed. It's going to hurt a little as a 5-hander, but it means every time you take damage, rather than building 1, you build 2.
Yep.
And 2 is just enough to trigger her other ability, which is destroy 2 foundations, your attack gains throw.
Yep.
So all those abilities that buff your non-throw attack, knowing that they'd be busted on a throw, give that card throw after you've done the buff.
Yeah.
This character's silly. Gives throw to everything. Does all the things.
Yeah, I'm seeing a theme here as well where Recovery Girl just recovers a bunch of Deku stuff from him training too hard, which I like.
I'm sure there's other stuff that can go in here, but yeah, Deku stuff tends to be pretty good for her. And I've heard people say they've tested her out and she's not been nearly as busted as people thought because she has to take hits. I've been playing an Endeavor deck. My Endeavor deck revolves around take hit, recur attack, take hit, recur attack. Just over and over and over. And knowing which hits to take, which hits not to take. So if that deck can win, and I mean really win, I don't see why Granny Cage here isn't going to have some degree of success.
Yeah, maybe they meant she's not as busted as you would expect her just like reading it.
No, they were actually saying she wasn't good, which seems ridiculous.
Oh, okay. I'm wondering now how easy it is to get to all your pieces to make all these combos work.
Well, I mean, just play a whole load of cards. You'll check them.
Yeah.
You don't need any specific piece. She's a toolbox character.
Mm.
And, you know, worst comes to the worst, you just build way into deadlock and then force everything through. And if your opponent tries to deadlock punish you, just blow up 2 of your foundations during their attack. What are you going to do?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not in deadlock anymore.
Yeah, I like her character. I think Life is probably the best thing to play her in because of the Excited for Blood thing. Or Good.
Life or Good, definitely. Water, I have no idea what she's going to do on Water. But there's probably some crazy stuff there too that I'm just not seeing.
Yeah, and then maybe a bunch of cards which on play like draw you cards.
Yeah, she'll probably have attacks that do that.
Yeah, I mean the only one I know is Specialized Sound Waves on Good.
Yes. Just run Specialist Sound Waves, stack your deck, check the right things, build them in.
Yeah.
Of
course, I would.
But you probably don't want to do that, because she can't give it damage, and she can't give it throw.
No, yeah. That would be really just for the draw.
Yeah, but she's a fun character. Of all the promo characters, she and Kurogiri are the 2 I most want to play. And I do like that we've also been seeing some Set 2 promo support for Kurogiri, but yeah, I do want to play Recovery Girl. Recovery Girl seems nutty. I don't know whether she's actually going to be as busted as she looks to me, because yeah, people have been saying she's not. But even if she's not broken, she's still going to be a hell of a lot of fun to play.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting hold of some of these cards. And I'm really hoping that we can.
Yeah, it would be disappointing if we get a 3rd set and we still don't have access to any of these.
Yeah.
We don't have these, what are they, provisional licensing? No, it's not provisional. Provisional Showdown. Is that what it's called?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have any, or not many of those, not that I know of, here in the UK. And then that the shop doesn't work either is a bit disappointing.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I've been able to get stuff from them, you haven't, so it seems like it does work, but inconsistently.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are great cards. I'm hoping we can get hold of them. Certainly, anyone watching this in the US, you can get hold of them. Have a lot of fun with them. I know I would if I could. And yeah, that's it from us this time. We'll be talking about that Endeavor deck and a whole bunch of my other decks in a future video when I'm able to talk to you a bit more in person and have my proper deck viewing setup. But in the meantime, we'll be going over a few more of the new releases coming out soon. See you then, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.